pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Alderman Vaughn.
Good evening, Heavenly Father. Good evening, Lord Jesus. Good evening, Holy Spirit. Good evening, Heavenly Family. And make them the creator of every good and perfect gift. The Almighty and all wise, all knowing, all powerful, all seeing, hearing, understanding God. Father God, again, there's a Mary and the board come before you again. Again, like as always, it's not for no shape, form, or fashion, nor is it for outside show to the world, but it's to give you thanks and praise and glory, God, because of who you are and what you are. But Lord, it's to make wise decisions for the people that elected us. But God, we was appointed by you. We thank you so much for appointing us in your position. But God, let us make the best decision, a decision that will please your heart. That will please your heart and will please the people's heart. Father God, we just thank you. We thank you for the way you made us, because you made us for you, not us. You made us for you, Father God, and we just thank you for the way you made us. And God, we can praise and glory and honor to you. Now we pray for the department heads and every city employee, Father God. And we thank you so much for all you have allowed us to achieve during this term. Father, we just pray that you just continue to bless our effort, continue to order our steps, and guide and direct us the way you want us to do it, not we ourselves. And Father God, I pray so much for Brother Chris Taylor family, God, that you would bless right now, comfort them right now, Father, during this time of bereavement, most of all, time of hurt and time of unexpectedness, Father. But we know that we belong to you. You come get us whenever you get ready. Father, it is in the mighty name of Jesus, we give all praise and glory to you, God, because of who you are and what you are. In the mighty name of Jesus, we pray. Amen.
Thank you, Alderman Vaughn. All right, the first item of business for us would be approval of the official agenda with consented items, and I'm going to ask the board, I emailed you a resolution that was to honor Chris Taylor, Command Sergeant Chris Taylor, on this evening. If we would please, what I would like to do is put that under board business, and I will read it at that point in time, if that's acceptable to the board. Any objections to that? Any objections?
I hadn't seen it yet.
Oh, I'm sorry.
No problem.
Well, I'm happy to pass it down
Sure,
to you
sure.
if you'll bring it back to me so I can read it.
I will.
I apologize for
No
not,
problem.
for not sending it to
No
you
problem,
in more
no
than one
problem,
format.
no
So,
problem,
okay.
no problem.
All right, I do need to determine whether or not there are any other changes. Alderman Moreland, any changes to the agenda?
No, ma'am.
I'm sorry, and just for notification, Alderman Brooks is on the phone, so it will be a roll call vote for everything we do. My apologies, I should have noted that to begin with. Alderman Rupp.
No, ma'am.
Alderman
No,
Beatty.
ma'am.
Alderman Brooks.
No, Mayor, thank you.
Alderman Sistrum.
No, ma'am, thank you.
I'm sorry, Vice Mayor.
No, ma'am, Mayor, thank you.
Alderman Vaughn.
No, ma'am, thank you.
All right, thank you. All right, if not, I need a motion to approve the agenda with the considered items and with the one addition.
Move approval.
All right, thank you, Alderman Rupp. Will that work for a second, Alderman Sistrum?
will.
All right, thank you very much. All those in favor, if you would, please signify. No.
No.
If you would, please answer yea or nay. I get my motion going. Answer yea or nay as the city clerk calls your name.
Alderman Moreland.
Yay.
Alderman Rupp.
Yay.
Alderman Brooks.
Yay.
Alderman Beatty.
Yay.
Alderwoman Sistrunk.
Yay.
Vice Mayor Perkins.
Yay.
Alderman Vaughn.
Yay.
All right, thank you so much, and it is unanimous. I will read the consented items. First is consideration of the minutes of the August 16th, 2024 work session of the Mayor and Board of Aldermen of the City of Starkville. Then we have under Mayor's business, we have consideration of resolutions placing liens with the Chancery Clerk and the Oktibbeha County Tax Assessor on the following properties that have been found in violation of Mississippi Code 21-1911 and have been subsequently cleaned as authorized by the City of Starkville Board of Aldermen, 109B Westbound Street, North Long Street, and 280 West Garrett Road. Under B, it's consideration of the extension of the contract with Narrative 12 for another year effective October 1, 2024 through September 30, 2025. Under Airport, we have request approval to accept the MDOT grant for the 5% match of an FAA grant 3-28-0068-032-2024 for clearing and grubbing in the amount of $8,334 to be divided between MSU, Oktibbeha County, and the city. Under Community Development and Planning, we have number 1 is consideration of an encroachment agreement to allow construction and installment of covers over sidewalks in front of buildings within the right-of-way on property at 101 Greenfield Street, more specifically described as Sudduth Elementary School. Under Engineering, we have number 1, consideration of approving a professional services contract with Temple, Inc. for traffic signal inventory in the amount of $11,000. Number 2, under Engineering, is consideration of approving permission to apply for funding from the 2024 Transportation Alternatives TA program. 3 is consideration of approving the low quote from Wilson's Tree Service in the amount of $8,000 for tree cutting. Under Fire Department, we have request permission for Empire Truck Sales LLC to perform emergency repairs for Engine 5 in the amount of $8,807.50, which includes towing and rotor replacement. Under HR, we have 1, request authorization to hire Avis James Wallace as an aircraft lineman, FBO, in the Starkville Airport Department. 2, request authorization to hire Ian Marshall as a water technician 1, the Starkville Utilities Department. 3 is request authorization to hire Robert Igueras and Haley Hunt as certified police officers and Richard Jones as a reserve police captain in the Starkville Police Department. 4 is consideration of disciplinary action recommended by General Manager Edward Kemp for a Utilities Department employee. 5 is request authorization to hire the following employees in the Sanitation and Environmental Services Department: Javian Jefferson, Jacob Lee, and Nicholas Lucius as seasonal sanitation workers, and Renardo Prater as a residential driver. Under IT, Information Technology, number 1 is request approval of purchase of 2 cellular security cameras for the lowest quote of $11,035.50 from Security Solutions. Under Parks, number 1, consideration of approval of the lowest quote from Struthers Recreation in the amount of $37,759.44 for the George Evans Park Playground Project. Number 2 is consideration approval of the lowest quote from Struthers Recreation in the amount of $37,939.03 for the Josie Park Playground Project. 3 is consideration of accepting the agreement from SGK Landscapes in an amount not to exceed $4,200 for the audit and repair of the Sportsplex soccer field irrigation system. And 4 is consideration of accepting the quote and agreement from Bella Construction in the amount of $1,500 for the inspection and testing of the existing J.L. King splash pad. Under Police, we have request approval to enter into a 5-year agreement with Axon Enterprise, Inc. as a sole source provider and compatible with the existing Fusus Real-Time Intelligence Center in the total amount of $409,999.80, with $74,999.80 due November 1, 2024. Item B is request permission to apply for the Justice Assistance Grant with the State of Mississippi Department of Public Safety for equipment in the amount of $5,000 with a city match of $1,250. C is request approval to renew the annual Leads Online Power Plus Investigation System Service Package at a cost of $6,704 as a sole source provider, which is compatible with existing systems. D is request approval to accept a fiscal year 25 Mississippi Department of Homeland Security grant, a 100% reimbursable grant in the amount of $37,500 to be used for the purchase of 3 stationary automated license plate readers. And under Utilities, we have consideration of accepting the low bid for the aerator and electrical project for the wastewater treatment plant from Hemp Hill Construction, Inc. in the amount of $8,900,415. Number 3 is request approval of renewing the Barracuda software agreement in the amount of $15,090. 4 is request authorization to advertise for request for proposals, RFP, from qualified electrical contracting companies to provide contract electric line construction and maintenance work related to wood pole replacement. And that does conclude our consent agenda items.
Thank you, Mayor.
Happy to do that. And next we move to several items, and in particular we have something we haven't done before, at least not to my knowledge in my time here, and that is the recognition of employees with 15 years of service, 20 years of service, 25 years of service, and 30 years of service. And we have certificates for those. And so I'm going to come down, if it's okay, and ask them to come forward. It is Kenneth Watkins, who is a lieutenant in the fire department, I'm sorry, the police department, Brian Arnett, who is training chief in the fire department, and Rodney Lincoln, who is with our airport, he's our airport director. We have George Coleman, who is sergeant in the police department, and then Henry Stewart, who is our assistant police chief. And I didn't do the proper years because Kenneth Watkins has 15 years, and I'm going to give this to you here now, so the board can see and you can see. Okay? 15 years service. Thank you so much. I think it's important that we acknowledge the years of service that these folks have given us. So next is Brian Arnett, and he has got 20 years of service, our training chief. Thank you so much. It's a pleasure. You're welcome. Mr. Lincoln, goodness gracious, all right, 20 years, been around 20 years. All right, congratulations and thank you for your service. We appreciate that. And then George Coleman, hiding in the back, I knew you were here for something, for 30 years, been around us 30 years. Congratulations. Thank you so much. And absolutely last but not least, AC, 25 years. Thank you so much. We appreciate it. Chief, excellent. You got the way. I think it's really important for us to acknowledge this, and I hope, well, we'll be doing more of this going forward, but these are the backbone of our community and the backbone of our city, and we appreciate them, and I think it's time for us to notice that, so.
Amen.
All right, and I'm going to tell, I sent the board an email today, and we got word that we were approved for an $8.1 million DOT grant today that we had put in for Safe Streets for All, and so I am incredibly excited about that. That is one of the projects that we anticipate will make a great difference in safety, but also in the entrance to coming into the community. It is at Garrett Road and the Highway 12 bypass, so it will serve as a way to slow people down and to let them know they're now coming into a urban environment. So I'm really excited about that as an opportunity for us. So anyway, I think all of that is great, and I think I will close on that one. So anything, Alderman Moreland?
No, ma'am.
All right, Alderman Rupp?
No, ma'am.
Alderman Beatty?
No, Mayor, thank you.
Alderman Brooks?
No, Mayor, thank you.
I come to you late because you're on my right now on the phone, so it's almost like you're sitting here instead of to my left. So, Alderman Sistrunk, anything?
No, ma'am, thank you.
Vice Mayor?
Mayor, I wasn't intending to say anything, but since you mentioned about the award, we need to give great respect to your leadership in terms of making that happen. You went to Washington back on about, your involvement in June, and also we got the $20 million from Senator Roger Wicker, and now this $8+ million. So that's to be publicly noted. That's what the Vice Mayor terms is excellent leadership. That's what makes this city move, these dollars and cents. And thank you for that. And we have to take time out to give credit where credit is due. So that's the right thing to do, and so you deserve the moment.
Well, you were very kind, and I need to pass that moment on because the engineering department worked that application up, and they spent many, many hours getting that together. I know Mr. Burnett did a whole lot on the narrative, and Mr. Williams worked on it, and so it was obviously a huge engineering effort, but I thank you. I appreciate that. I'm just excited that the legislators see the value
Right.
in bringing
Right.
money to Starkville.
Absolutely. I yield, Mayor. Thank you.
All right, thank you. Alderman Vaughn?
No, ma'am, thank you.
All right, thank you. All right, so next we move to citizens' comments. Anyone who wishes to speak to us and provide us information or concerns or compliments, we are happy to listen. Everyone has 3 minutes. Mr. Turner, always nice to see you.
Greeting to the mayor and board. My name is Alvin Turner, Ward 7. To the mayor, to the police chief, to the fire chief, to sanitation. On Saturday evening when I got home, I got a call that my friend Sergeant Major 3, Chris, had expired. So pretty much for the Taylor family, our family, and to the mayor, I'm gonna give you his oldest daughter number because she probably need a lot of input on how to deal with her father passing and the military stuff to go along with it. The electric bill, I would like for Mr. Kim to explain the electric bill that have gotten kind of confusing. The people receive electric water, then sewer, then flipped over to, we be looking for the, how much our bill is, and we have a lot of information, and we get sidetracked on the electric bill.
Thank you, Mr. Turner. I'm sure Mr. Kemp will get with you shortly. Anyone else? Yes, ma'am.
Good afternoon to the board. I'm here on behalf of my son, Derek Ware, who was terminated on August 23rd from the water department. And my concern, he had an accident.
Would you tell us your name first?
Carol Jones.
Ms. Jones, okay. All right, Ms. Jones?
I am here on behalf of my son.
Yes, ma'am.
And he was terminated from the water department on August 23rd. And my concern, I wanted some clarification on, he had to make a payment on a vehicle for $1,871.23. And I was wondering why.
Yes, ma'am. That is not something we're going to discuss. It's a personnel matter. So
Okay.
if you would be so kind, you can step back there and speak to that gentleman right back there with his hand up, and he'll be able to help you. Thank you, ma'am. Anyone else wishing to speak to the board? Anyone else? All right, seeing none, I will close it under citizens' comments, and we will move to public hearings. First public hearing or actually it's the second public hearing, but the first one on the list is a public hearing with consideration of the tax millage for the city of Starkville for fiscal year 2024-2025. Does anyone have anything they wish to say before I open it as a public hearing? Anyone? No? All right, so I will open it as a public hearing. Now is your opportunity to provide the board input on the millage rate. It has not changed. It is remaining the same. So if you wish to talk about that to us, you're welcome to do so now, either for or against. Seeing none, I will close it as a public hearing, and we will entertain a motion. Do I have a motion?
Mayor, I'll make such a motion.
All right, thank you, Alderman Beatty. Do I have a second?
Second.
Second from Alderman Moreland. Is there any discussion? Any discussion? All right, seeing none, if you would, please answer yea or nay as the city clerk calls your name.
Alderman Moreland.
Yay.
Alderman Rupp.
Yay.
Alderman Brooks.
Yay.
Alderman Beatty.
Yay.
Alderman Sistrunk.
Yay.
Vice Mayor Perkins.
Yay.
Alderman Bond.
Yay.
All right, it is unanimous. Thank you so much. All right, number 2 is a second public hearing, consideration of the adoption of the budget for the city of Starkville for the 2024-2025 year. Anyone wish to make any comments before I open it as a public hearing? All right, seeing none, I will open this as a public hearing. This is your opportunity to speak about the fiscal year budget for 2024-2025. Anyone, either for or against? Seeing none, I will close it as a public hearing. Do I have a motion?
Move approval.
I have a motion from Alderman Sistrunk. Do I have a second?
Second.
I heard two. Alderman Beatty,
The whole
you're
left side,
closest.
second.
You're closest, all right. Any discussion?
Mayor,
Alderman Beatty.
one thing.
Yes, sir.
Do we need to add language, fiscal year 2024-25 general operating budget versus budget? We have several budgets.
I'm sure that won't be a hard thing to add, and,
But
It
actually,
it
we
includes
approve
all
all,
budgets.
all the
oh,
budgets.
we're
The
approving all
resolution
budgets.
attached.
So, good
But,
point, but yes.
not the revenue funds of
Yes,
enterprise
we are,
funds.
including all the budgets, yes.
Includes all budgets.
Are we approving the utility department budget with it?
Yes, sir.
I thought we were gonna discuss,
Well, that's the rates, but the current budget,
okay, all right.
okay.
Okay, so all budgets. Okay.
Sanitation, airport.
May I?
Yes, Alderman Sistrunk.
What we're approving is with the rates as they're currently structured. So,
I withdraw my.
Okay, all right. Anything else? Well, I do have a motion and a second. Any other discussion? Seeing none, if you would, please answer yea or nay as the city clerk calls your name.
Alderman Moreland.
Yay.
Alderman Rupp.
Yay.
Alderman Brooks.
Yay.
Alderman Beatty.
Yay.
Alderman Sistrum.
Yay.
Vice Mayor Perkins.
Nay.
Alderman Vaughn.
Yay.
All right. By a vote of 6 to 1, the motion carries. All right, next we have a public hearing in consideration of UE 24-02, request for a use exception to allow for the placement of manufactured classroom at Starkville High School located at 603 Yellow Jacket in an SE zoning district. Mr. Haviland, you're up.
UE 24-02. This is a request by Starkville, Starkville Consolidated School District to allow for the placement of a manufactured home at 603 Yellow Jacket Road Drive in a SE zoning district. Everybody's pretty familiar with the location. The applicant is proposing to use a manufactured classroom structure on the high school campus. This structure is currently located at Armstrong Junior High School. On August 4th, 2015, the Board of Aldermen approved the use of the structure at Armstrong with the condition that the structure be removed by September 1st of 2017. The structure is still currently there. The request was reviewed by the Development Review Committee as part of the use exception request. Comments from that were summarized in a staff report. They included items such as ADA, location outside the floodplain, and the structure requiring sprinklers if it's going to be classified as an educational use. And this is the revised site plan that they submitted, so the location they're wanting to put this structure is on the west side of campus near the driver's ed building, right there, sort of visible from the road, but there's some screening and stuff that's being provided with landscaping. On August 13th, 2024, the Planning and Zoning Commission voted unanimously to recommend approval of the request with 3 conditions. Those conditions relate to it being located outside of the floodplain, which the revised site plan has it outside the floodplain, and screening shall be provided. They provided screening on the site plan, and that the structure should be removed 3 years after it is approved. As with all use exceptions, there are the 6 criteria. With the use exceptions, 37 property owners of record within 160 feet were notified directly by mail. The legal ad was published on June 16th and August 2nd, 2024. A sign has been posted in a conspicuous location, and as of this date, we received no response to the notification.
Okay. Any questions of Mr. Haviland before we open it as a public hearing? All right, none? Is the applicant here? All right, would you like to come add anything to this?
I'd be glad to answer any questions, but we're just trying to ask him.
Okay, well, let's see. Are there any questions of the applicant? Any questions? None? Anything you wish to add?
No.
Nope. All right, well, I appreciate you being here. Thank you. All right, I'll open it as a public hearing. Anyone wishing to speak to this particular item, either for or against, now would be your opportunity. Either for or against. Seeing none, I will close it as a public hearing. Do I have a motion?
Move to approve.
I have a motion approval by Alderman Rupp. Do I have a second?
Second.
Second from Alderman Moreland. Any other discussion? All right, seeing none, if you would please answer yea or nay as the city clerk calls your name.
Alderman Moreland.
Yay.
Alderman Rupp.
Yay.
Alderman Brooks.
Yay.
Alderman Beatty.
Yay.
Alderman Sistrum.
Yay.
Vice Mayor Perkins.
Yay.
Alderman Vaughn.
Yay.
All right, thank you. And next, we have another one. Mr. Haviland, you're up. So consideration of UE 24-03.
Just a point of clarification, is that approval with the 3 conditions?
Yeah, well, I
Yes.
made that assumption. Was that? Yes, okay. Yes, for clarification purposes, yes.
UE 24-03, this is the request by Starkville High Consolidated School District to allow for a manufactured home placed at the Emerson Family School location at 1504 Louisville Street. The Development Review Committee reviewed this request, and again, it's summarized in the staff report. Those comments included that the structure must meet ADA and the structure must provide a sprinkler system if it is classified as an educational use. You can see here it's kind of located, if you're looking at the building, on the south side of the building in the front. Sorry, that's a little washed out, but just like the previous one, it has an ADA ramp and it is showing screening with landscaping around the edges. On August 23rd, 3rd, 2014, the Planning and Zoning Commission voted unanimously to recommend approval of the request with 2 conditions. That a screening shall be shown on the site plan, which it is on this image, and that the structure shall be removed 3 years after approval. And just to note, the floodplain one condition was left off of this because there is no floodplain at this site. The request was noticed in accordance with UDC. 5 property owners of record were notified by mail, and a legal ad ran on June 16th and August 2nd, 2024. Sign was posted at a conspicuous location, and there was no response to the notification. That is the conditions, and then, as always, the 6 criteria for use exception. If there are any questions.
Okay, any questions of Mr. Hamlin on this item? All right, seeing none, applicant, same applicant by chance? Would you like to come up? Is anything in particular you?
Been asking for your help with this.
Okay, all right, any questions of the applicant? You are going to sprinkler? Okay, all right, that would be my one question, just to make sure. So, having said that, I need a motion.
Make a motion to approve.
All right, I got Alderman Sistrunk, can I take your second? Alderman Moreland?
Absolutely.
All right. Second from Alderman Moreland, any discussion?
With the conditions.
With
the
yes, so
conditions, thank you.
We were gonna certify that before we went any further, you're absolutely right, with conditions, all right. All right, if there's no further discussion, if you would please answer yea or nay as the city clerk calls your name.
Alderman Moreland.
Yay.
Alderman Rupp.
Yay.
Alderman Brooks. Alderman Brooks.
Alderman Brooks?
Alderman Brooks.
Yay.
All right, thank you.
Alderman Beatty.
Yay.
Alderman Sistrunk.
Yay.
Vice Mayor Perkins.
Yay.
Alderman Bond.
Yay.
All right, it is unanimous, thank you. All right, next we have a public hearing consideration for lot mowings, and I'm happy to report of the lot mowings that we noticed for public hearings. We have all but 2 that have complied with the mowing requirements. So the two that are still in need of adjudication as menaces are case number 24-000464, 107 Rex Street, the owner Troy Robinson. And then we have 24-000456, 701 Louisville Street, Joseph Mosley and Joseph Thomas Mosley, I believe it is, an irrevocable trust. So those are the only 2 that are currently still on the list that are in need of finding of adjudication. So any questions about any of those from the board? Alderman Beatty.
Does the adjudication include, or is that just front yard mowing? What all?
Well, that's mowing of what's in violation, which would be front and back.
Okay. And the Cright Street property has been adjudicated?
It has been,
Because
and
the backyard's not been mowed.
well, we haven't done anything with it yet because we wanted to demo it.
Okay, all right.
And so, that is being coordinated with, the street department and Chris
So
Bly.
we set up for demolition?
Yes,
Okay.
set for demolition. Anything further?
No, Mayor.
Okay, anything else from anyone? All right, I will take this opportunity to open as a public hearing. Anyone wishing to speak to those 2 particular locations that are still found to be in need of adjudication of being a menace to the public? That would be 107 Rex Street and 701 Louisville Street. Anyone? Anyone? Seeing none, I will close it as a public hearing. I'll entertain a motion from the board.
Make such a motion.
Thank you, Alderman Beatty. Do I have a second?
Second.
Second from Alderman Moreland. Any discussion? If you would, please answer yea or nay as the city clerk calls your name.
Alderman Moreland.
Yay.
Alderman Rupp.
Yay.
Alderman Brooks.
Yay.
Alderman Beatty.
Yay.
Alderman Sistrunk.
Yay.
Vice Mayor Perkins.
Yay.
Alderman Bond.
Yay.
All right, it is unanimous. Thank you so much, Alderman Sistrunk.
I would just like to say that I have been more than pleased with the efficiency of this process now, and I applaud you and whomever else was involved in getting this to the board and speeding the process up. So it seems to be working really well, and kudos.
I'm
Very
really
well.
excited, and if you haven't been out 182, I drove out there yesterday where all those trailers were. It is a clean site. Those trailers are all gone. It is all cleaned up. So it is absolutely to the credit there, and I am delighted that people are understanding the importance of keeping their property looking good and neighborly. So I think it's wonderful. Thank you.
Mayor, I'd like to add to it, the code department is doing an outstanding job. They're doing a great job. And we're getting Starkville cleaned up one property at a time.
You are.
And so, thank you for your efforts, your good work.
Absolutely, thank you. All right, and last but not least, under public hearings, we have a consideration of a variance 24-03. Mr. Haviland, one last time for us, please, sir.
BA 24-03. This is a request by Frank Jones for a variance from front setbacks requirements located at 290 Turnberry in an SD2 zoning district. This is located at the far, should have had more pulled out, in the far back part of Country Club. The applicant is seeking relief from the front setback requirements. As you can see in the image, the proposed structure was designed for the applicant and encroaches on the front setbacks in 3 places. The largest deviation is plus or minus 5 feet. It's shown as 4'11" on the image. The applicant was also the developer of the subdivision in this phase, which was platted on September 26th of 2022. Since the development was started before the adoption of the current zoning, the setbacks for this phase were permitted to match the previous phase, which is a setback of 25 in the front, 20 rear, and 10 on the sides. This request was noticed in accordance to the UDC, and non-property owners of record within 160 feet were notified by mail. The legal ad was published on August 13th, 2024, and a sign placed in the property. And as of this date, we received no response to the notification. And then there are 6 criteria for variance review and approval. And at the August 28th Board Adjustment Appeals meeting, the board unanimously recommended approval.
Okay, what are the current setbacks, if we've allowed him to go with the ones that were in place at the time, what are the current ones?
Top of my head, I think they're a little deeper. I think it's 30 feet instead of 25, but
Okay, so
the
he'd
rear
be
yard
even
is smaller.
even further out of compliance?
Yeah, but the whole neighborhood, because it was well under the way when the UDC was
No, I'm not,
adopted. Yeah.
I'm not finding fault, I'm just
Yep.
curious to see what it would.
Yeah, if we applied it, it would be twice as much out
Okay,
of
all
compliance.
right, that's
Yeah.
all I was trying to make sure I understood. Okay, any questions of Mr. Haviland? Anyone? None? Okay, I'll open it as a public hearing. Anyone wishing to, oh, nope, where's the applicant? Oh, there he is, I should have known that, come on. Okay, well, and just for the record.
Corey Anthony.
Thank you so much, all right, Mr. Anthony. Any questions of Mr. Anthony? No? Okay, all right, just wanted to offer the opportunity for the board. All right, now, open this public hearing. Anyone wishing to speak to this matter now is the opportunity, either for or against. Either for or against. All right, seeing none, do I have a motion?
Yes, ma'am.
Alderman Rupp,
I make a motion to approve.
okay? And do I have a second?
Second.
Second from Alderman Sistrum. All right, any further discussion? Yes, ma'am.
I would just like to say that, had he rounded the corners, he'd have been fine, but this is, a very, very slight variance, and I think has met that idea of doing the minimum, to allow him to build what he needs to build there, so.
Okay, all right. Any other comments or discussion? All right, if none, if you would, please answer yea or nay as the city clerk calls your name.
Alderman Moreland.
Yay.
Alderman Rupp.
Yay.
Alderman Brooks.
Yay.
Alderman Beatty.
Yay.
Alderman Sistrum.
Yay.
Vice Mayor Perkins.
Yay.
Alderman Vaughn.
Yay.
All right, it is unanimous, thank you. And we have reached under board business where I asked to place this board resolution, and I'm going to read the resolution, and then I will take motion from the board if it so pleases. This is a resolution of the Board of Aldermen of the City of Starkville acknowledging the contributions of Command Sergeant Major Chris Taylor to the City of Starkville. Whereas Chris Taylor was born February 9th, 1955, and was a native son to Starkville, Mississippi, where he attended Starkville High School. And whereas Chris Taylor served his country with distinction, rising in the enlisted ranks to Command Sergeant Major in the United States Army while serving in combat in Bosnia, Kosovo, and Afghanistan, earning the Legion of Merit Medal, the Bronze Star, and the Meritorious Service Medal. And whereas Chris Taylor, as a retired Command Sergeant Major, was an inspiration and role model for our community, especially our youth, as he supported the spirit and value of military service he so valiantly embodied. And whereas Chris Taylor served as the president of the Oktibbeha County chapter of the National Association for the Advancement of Colored People, NAACP, for 7 years, bringing wisdom, humor, and kindness to his job and respect to his organization. And whereas the city of Starkville and all of Oktibbeha County have benefited from his spirit of service and engagement from his work on the Unity Park Committee and the Red Cross Board, to his membership and participation in the Greater Starkville Development Partnership and the American Legion Post 240. And whereas Chris Taylor was always a family man, taking great pleasure in spending time with his 4 children, Kentoria, Chris Jr., Crystal, and Alexis, as well as his grandchildren, Olivia, Jasmine, and Quentin. Now therefore be it resolved as follows. The city of Starkville does hereby proclaim the Command Sergeant Major Chris Taylor was a Starkville hero and a man of deep spirit for our community, and that as such he is deserving of our gratitude and remembrance through this resolution and through subsequent opportunities to show our appreciation of his gifts to the city of Starkville. And I need a motion to fill out the rest of it upon motion duly made by. So I have a motion from Alderman Vaughn. Do I have a second?
Second.
Second from Alderman Beatty. Any discussion? All right, seeing none, if you would please answer yea or nay as the city clerk calls your name.
Alderman Moreland.
Yay.
Alderman Rupp.
Yay.
Alderman Brooks.
Yay.
Alderman Beatty.
Yay.
Vice Mayor Perkins.
Yay.
I'm sorry, Alderman Sistrum.
Yay.
Alderman Vaughn.
Yay.
All right, thank you, it is unanimous. And Ms. Harden, you'll enter that in the record for us, please. All right, thank you so much. All right, and next we have claims docket. If I could get a motion.
Move to approve.
I have a motion from Alderman Sistrunk, and I'm gonna take Alderman Rups as a second. Is that okay? Did I hear you? No? Wasn't you? I thought it was. Don't mess with me. All right. Any discussion? All right, if you would please answer yea or nay as the city clerk calls your name.
Alderman Moreland.
Yay.
Alderman Rupp.
Yay.
Alderman Brooks.
Yay.
Alderman Beatty.
Yay.
Alderman Sistrum.
Yay.
Vice Mayor Perkins.
Nay.
Alderman Vaughn.
Nay.
All right, by a vote of 5-2, motion carries. And last but not least, we have request consideration of updating the water and sewer rates for Starkville Utilities effective October 1, 2024. This was a point of our work session. Mr. Kemp, anything you would like to share with us? I think you prepared a small something, did you not?
Yeah,
Just to
I'm
kind of
happy
give the
to,
viewing public some information?
answer any questions that the board might have. I did a very, very brief overview of the presentation that I gave Friday, which is kind of a recap of the comprehensive evaluations, kind of pulling it all into the capital improvement plan and one option on how to fund that plan. So happy to answer any questions that the board might have about the plan itself or the rates. I think one of the things that came out from Alderman Beatty is when we showed this was the impact, I think, was the average for the average customer. I think is one of the questions that came out. It was hard to gauge from the overall bands that Dr. Barrett had. So this was taking the average customer, which is 2,800 gallons a month, and then applying those that recommended rate and what that impact would be. So this is just, again, just a high level overview. Happy to take any questions that the board might have at this point.
Okay. Go recap the amount goes from $6 to $8.50 flat rate or
Yes.
base rate, correct?
On the water, 6 to 850, right?
And then your variable rate was
Four.
proposed to go from
450 to 5.
450 to 5, and then on sewer?
Sewer goes from 6 to 850. I mean 6 to 1075.
Okay.
And I actually have a slide.
And the sewer rate is differentiated by a greater amount due to the extent, the cost of sewer is actually more than water.
Right.
And we
based
have,
on
over the last 20 years or whatever number of years, we've always done one for one.
One for
And
one.
one for one is actually not accurate in terms of what it actually costs us
That's right.
to treat the sewer and the waste. Is that correct?
It is, and a higher amount of capital needed for those wastewater-related projects, at least in the near term, based on those comprehensive evaluations.
And the current wastewater project that we have that is so critical is the aerators, is that correct?
That's right. Just approved the bids tonight for around $9 million.
Yes.
And we have about $4.5 million of that is funded externally, and so the remainder, plus the construction inspection oversight, would need to come out of the
And what
utility
is your
funds.
timeline on the aerators? assuming, obviously it all goes well and nothing else throws a hiccup in
I
it.
think it's a 12-month construction calendar.
Okay, so we're hoping to
contract.
have them in place and working appropriately by
By the end of
October of next year?
Right,
Or September,
yeah.
October of next year?
third, fourth quarter of '25.
Okay, all right. And what's your timeline on the well from a water perspective?
Well, we are hoping to start that process just as quickly as we can. We need to hire a consultant and start that.
Okay,
That's
so
the-
their consultant is the next step?
Yes, that's right.
All right, so
And
that's all
then,
my,
and then we'll also start the design right after, on the wastewater side, we'll start the design right after on the headworks.
okay.
So we
All right,
can
and the headworks is part of the wastewater treatment?
package B of
Yes.
of wastewater,
Okay,
that's
all right.
correct.
And this is, the board has heard all this, it's just mostly for consumption as it is related to our listening audience, shall we say.
Right.
So, all right, any questions of Mr. Kemp? Alderman Beatty, I see your hand.
Mr. Kim, can you go back to the previous slide that shows that average, the average impact on?
Do you have, you're ciphering?
I am.
Okay, all right.
Let me ask you this, based on what I was looking at, that's a 41% increase on the average user, if I'm looking at that correctly.
I didn't do the percentages.
I added the existing sewer and water, which would be 2810, and averaged and then added the 1750 and 2345. Took the difference of that and divided it by 2820. Do that again.
Oh, you numbers people do that. I think I see Webb back there ciphering too. Alderman
Mr.
Sistrunk, is
Boyd,
that
what
what
are
you?
you getting? 41.5.
Okay.
Yeah.
See, that's nice to be validated, isn't
It
it?
is. Mayor, as I stated the other day in the meeting, I understand we need to do some rate adjustment for our city. And going forward, I know that Mr. Kemp is looking forward. He is a forward-thinking, forward-looking person for our utility department that understands the enormous cost of infrastructure for the city of Starkville going forward. I mean, the water and sewer, if you cost out for the next 19 years, that's over $100 million. It was 106 or something. I don't know. One of the water needs was 53 million. It was 56 million. So that's 109 million or something like that, right?
I believe it was around 40 to 45 million each over the next 20 years.
Okay, so 90, pushing 100 million, something like that. So
By
just
the time we
daunting,
do it, probably.
a daunting amount of money that it's going to take. At the same time, we got to be sensitive to the fact that this average rate increase is for almost a 42% rate increase across the board for consumers. And I know that Alderman Sistrunk is our bond person and knows, about how we fund our projects. And there's two ways to do it, and one of them is pay as you go. And that's when you raise your rates, take the rate increases and go right into it, and you accumulate some, but then start, you putting it right into the repair and replacement. The other is you leverage it against bond debt. And
Or combination thereof.
in combination thereof, which is what we're doing. And I don't think I have enough information now to make a decision on this. And I'll open the floor to the other aldermen, allow you chief executive, and overseeing the meeting. But right now, I've been trying to pore over this stuff and figure out, what I'm comfortable with. And I know that we need to do a rate adjustment. We got to raise some money. We got to start continue putting new water and sewer lines down, and they're very, very expensive. At the same time, try to get a handle on what might be doable or viable for the city, and still keep the rate structure within something that people feel like is reasonable and fair. And I will say this, I mean, when we do adjust rates on water and sewer, we're gonna take that money and put it in the ground, and new water lines and sewer lines. And I think the mayor made a statement the other day in the paper that, you know, water lines are not sexy. They're not. And what's under the ground, we fail to think about until it breaks. You know, when 100 people or 50 people are out water and the water's muddy and it's a mess and that kind of thing, we realize that we've got very old, antiquated water pipes particularly. We have problems on the sewage side, on the treatment, sewage pipe side. So it's something that's very important and something that we've got to do. Some of the water lines downtown are 100+ years old, correct, Mayor?
Well, hopefully, we have replaced those.
But I'm talking about the new, but before we replaced, they were
Yes,
over 100 years old.
yes,
And I
yes.
bet if you get on Jackson Street and you get on, you know, some of these streets that come out of just out of downtown, we got 100-year-old water pipes. So it's something we need to do. But at this point, at this time, I just think that, from my perspective, I would like to see the board meet and try to flesh some of this stuff out and have Mr. Kemp in the meeting and try to get a little better handle on it before we determine what finally that rate's going to be for both the water and sewer, and then make a decision, hopefully at the next meeting.
Okay, well, I would like to ask you, since we're kind of dialoguing here, that I think he probably needs some guidance on what it is you would like to see. Because he did do, you know, the work session was pretty detailed, and Dr. Barrett was there. So what kind of guidance can we give him that he can go forward and bring back better information for you to make decisions with?
May I open that to my colleagues?
Well, you can, but you started it, so I was gonna give you the first shot at it.
I mean, I don't know. I mean, the easiest thing to do is go in and raise base rates, you know, on all those categories. At the same time, I mean, historically, and I think fairly, we start to increase the rate of the cost of water as the consumption goes up. And when I was in Newton, we did that also. That's not to discourage people from using large amounts of water. It's just saying that, you know, if you get in a category where you're using 10 or 15,000 gallons of water a month, you have the ability, apparently it determined that you have the ability to pay for that water, that kind of thing, where a lot of the lower end users, are people, a lot of them that are on fixed incomes and things that feel that base rate increase. And so, I mean, I don't know. I mean, I'm still kind of torn between, where those rate adjustments would be. I just know that just looking at what the slides up there now, a 41% increase across the board is a pretty hefty increase. I think Tupelo and Oxford are relevant and to our thing. And I looked today at Tupelo, and you can get their rates, pull their rates up online from their utility departments. But I looked at 5,000 gallons, and I did the math. I erased all my stuff, but our rates before an adjustment, if you looked at 5,000 gallons in consumption in Tupelo and 5,000 gallons consumption in Oxford, 5,000 gallons consumption here, one of them, Tupelo was $39.60. Oxford was $41.40, and we were $43, so we were right, just spot on. We were right tracking what they're doing. And 5,000 is not average for us. At the time you get to 5,000, the number of consumers is going down. They're in that first four categories where you have the consumers. But at the same time, I'd like for us to look at that a little bit closer, and at this time, I'll yield to my colleagues.
Okay, well, it sounds like it's more rate driven than it is the need. You recognize the need.
Oh,
so it's
absolutely,
more
absolutely.
Rate driven, all
Absolutely.
right. Okay, Alderman Sistrunk, I saw your hand.
And absolutely, there's not a project on this list that is not important and that does not need to be funded, or that can be really pushed out much further than we're going to have to push it out just by nature of being able to get from point A to point B with this. We can't do it all at once. But all of these are critical, important projects, not only for our growth and economic development opportunities, but also to be able to provide services that are reliable to our existing customers. As you mentioned, making sure that we have appropriate water lines and sewer lines in our existing territory. So I don't think anybody up here would question at all whether or not there was a need for this. I think what we all struggle with is making sure that the amounts that we choose are reasonable and prudent and allow you the money that you need, you being the utilities department, the money that they need to move forward with these projects. I would like to focus on the base rates because, in my opinion, the base rate is what's used to get water to the house, get wastewater away from the house. And so that's the infrastructure piece of it. The variable part would be more operations and management, that maintenance, that sort of thing. So I see those as two very unique and separate pots of money that are going to fund that department. Now, with the projects that we have coming up, they are hugely expensive infrastructure projects. And so I'm comfortable with the idea of raising base rates to help cover those infrastructure projects. I would like to take a breath with the adjusting the variable portion of it until we have some more information, and I'll be more specific, till we've identified the water loss issues, and I know you said that that's maybe 6 months out from trying to figure out what that is. I don't want us to raise rates and then find out that we have been under collecting revenues, for instance. And if it's happening with water, that also drives our sewer collections. So I'd like to take the next 6 months to study that and get our hands around that piece of it. I think you can go forward with all the things that you need to do immediately, the aerator project that we've just approved tonight, the design and begin all the work related to a new water well, using debt to help smooth that curve. And I'm not saying that we won't wind up with a 41% increase, so I don't want anyone to think that we will not wind up with a potentially large increase in rates. What I would like to see is that we smooth that a little bit so that we do some this year and then some at another point in the future, not 2 years from now, but maybe as soon as 6 months, maybe a year from now, but continue to look at this. I think the thing that has me be a little uncomfortable, and perhaps some of the other aldermen, is we don't have access to a lot of the information that the boots on the ground people do. And I know that we have historically had an accounting system and a billing system that has not been the best that's out there, but you've made huge strides in improving that, and we're getting better and better data, both on the idea of being able to track cost and track billing and all that sort of thing. So I think in a few months we'll have a better idea of just how much those variable rates need to change, or if we need to continue to raise the base rates as you delineate between infrastructure and production or treatment costs. So I am inclined to look at the base rates tonight, and in the future, and not in the distant future, but in the next 6 months or so, come back, look at the variable rate when we have a little bit more information about that water loss. I don't think you'll ever be, from everything I've ever been told, you'll never be able to account for 100% of the water that's pumped into the wells. But there's a big difference between a 20, 25, 30% loss and a 45% loss. So, that's where I am tonight. I'm sure there's a lot of ways to skin a cat, and what we want to leave here with is a skinned cat that allows Edward and the Utilities Department to move forward with these critical projects. The aerators project is critical. The water well is right there behind it, and we just need to be aware that these things have to be paid for. So,
Alderman Vaughn.
Thank you, ma'am. Piggyback off what Ms. Sistrom said about the water loss. I think when we find out what was this water loss cost, sometimes I don't think we would have to increase some of this so much until we really find out what the water loss. and then doing all this, our building cycle. And I think about the building cycle because you got so many people on fixed income. Some of these people on fixed income, they won't be able to adjust this because some of them can't even pay their bill now, already getting their lights cut off, and then once they get their light, get their water cut off and all this cut off, you still got to pay what, a connection fee. And if they can't pay it now, they making choice, do I buy my medicine or do I go pay my bill? I mean, that's what my biggest concern is. Do I buy my medicine or do I pay my bill? And we imposing more rates on them when they can't already pay the rates that we have. And that's what's so scary to me because, you know what I mean, even though down here with the existing, where you're on the sewage rate, and with the existing, they just say a flat rate on, that's $29.17. So if you flip it, if we go to the proposed, what you got, that's gonna go up $46.25. I mean, some of these rates, they already struggling with it. I mean, I'm not against it, but can't we find something different? And then plus, I'm still concerned about the billing cycle. Can't we find something about the billing cycle to accommodate these people that get that first and third check? That's what happened. A lot of them get caught in that system with that first and third check, and they end up getting their bill, their utilities cut off because of that cycle. Somewhere down the line, look like we ought to be able to fix that cycle to accommodate them with their first and third. Because how many days do we have before we cut them off? With the first and third, some get theirs on the first, some get theirs on the third. So if we go with the proposed right now, it's gonna be a lot of people get their lights cut off, get their utility bills, go their water rates and all that. You know, that's what my biggest concern.
Edward, do we not, excuse me, sorry, you done?
Go ahead.
Okay. No, do we not have a leveling option, or is that strictly for electricity?
We have a levelized billing option. We also have a new called budget billing option, and there's ways that you can kind of calculate that with our new system. We have an additional option now. We also have the ability to pick a due date for folks who are getting revenue or checks on a certain day of the month. You can kind of modify, there's some options to modify those due dates.
Have we let them know that? Have we identified those folks who are in need of that kind of assistance?
Yeah, we try to work with anybody who comes in, kind of meet them where they are. We offer the payment arrangement options for people that are going through difficult times as well. So there is some different options out there. And obviously, this has been a really hot summer too, and so the usage has gone up, especially in the last month or so for both water and for electricity.
Okay, all right. Alderman Sistrunk, I believe you wanted to. Anyone else before I go back to Alderman Sistrunk? No? Okay, Alderman Sistrunk?
And one thing that I was going to offer was, if we did the base rates and continue to look at the variable portion of it, apparently different towns look at how much is included in that base rate differently. Some give 0 gallons, some give a 1,000 like us, and others give even more in that base rate. So it's possible that we could take a look at that and see if that might offer some relief to some customers if we change that amount of gallons that are included in the base rate. But at the same time, we've got to raise the money to do these projects. We just have to, and we need to refine these rates as best we can to be mindful of our citizens, of our users, and to recognize that we have to have money to fund these projects. Right. We're hopeful that we'll get lots of government grants, but one never knows. So.
Well, when we are still working on it. Let me touch base with Alderman Brooks since I can't see a hand. Alderman Brooks, did you have anything? I didn't want to neglect you.
No, Mayor, I want to second what Alderman Sistrunk said about the water loss. That number really shocked me when we discussed that. So, I would rather wait till we can kind of determine what that is.
Okay.
That's kind of the way I'm looking at this.
All right, thank you. Alderman Moreland.
Edward, your new billing system, has it caught any errors in the billing from the past system when it converted over a good bit of it?
Yeah, it's found, all kinds of things that and we're still working through some of the kinks of any software conversion. You'll find things that need to be updated,
But you're confident in this system that we have now, as far as the billing?
Yeah, I feel better about it. It's not gonna be a perfect system.
Well, nothing is, I
Yeah,
understand.
right, but nothing is. And obviously there's a certain level of the data that you have that we've all inherited, right? That have taken years and decades and you built in that system. And then you are essentially converting it over to a new vehicle, if you will, that you're traveling in. So to some degree, I feel better about the system, but there's also all this legacy data that you're bringing in, and there's a constant, constant effort to try to improve that as you determine and find issues, you try to fix them, and you try to have an iterative process where you're kind of constantly improving the data. But it is a forever process. I mean, nothing is static. There's always customers coming and going. There's always changes. There's always things that may not be synced up correctly. So yeah, I just see it as a moving thing that's always gonna require effort to run.
At this point, you've got, what, 2 months of data from the new system? 1 month?
6 weeks,
We
probably.
went live on July the 15th.
Okay, so 2 months. Month and a half, 6 weeks, okay. So you really are kind of early into it.
We are.
All right, so anyone else? Alderman Rupp, anything you wish?
Just an aside, I want to commend you for the thoroughness of the report. I mean, it really helped us see the past deficiencies, current problems, and future challenges. And it was, despite the fact that we are not going to necessarily land with your request, I think you put a lot of time and effort into trying to educate us on what, to some of us,
Yeah.
it looks pretty complicated.
Okay.
Yeah, and I just, to Alderman Sistrun's point earlier, there's obviously a lot of needs out there, and these are technical experts who've done deep dives into our systems and looked at them and have come up with these recommendations on what to improve, what's the sequence to do, and about how much it's gonna cost. So I think that these are critical needs. It's a great conversation about how you design the rates and how it's the softest impact. I think that's a great discussion that we can continue to have. But you're right, the projects are important, and there's not really a lot of good alternatives of not doing the projects.
I'm more inclined to say the projects are critical and they're urgent, because our ability, particularly as it relates to wastewater, is without precedent. We've got to get that managed. And one of the things that you had done on the slide, or at least I think maybe your first slide, was all the things that we've done. And part of what we can't do anymore, while we're working on these massive projects of the wastewater treatment plant itself and then the well, is continue to do some of these areas where we've done all of Pleasant Acres and North Montgomery and all those things, because we're going to need to focus on those particular projects that are going to be sucking massive amounts of money out. So we're going to kind of put the whole, what's that territory? I can't even remember it because it's bizarre to me. Fairgrounds. The fairgrounds area was next on our list to do, and I think we're probably going to have to call a halt to that until we can get these other projects done, just from a funding standpoint.
And from a permitting compliance standpoint, obviously the wastewater treatment plant is in compliance with the health department. You have to meet those capacity and treatment goals and thresholds, and you're exactly right, those would be priority if the funds are limited.
Okay. Alderman Beatty, did I see your?
Yes, ma'am. We got two separate issues going. We got, what's the water loss amount? You know, say 45?
About 45%.
45% water loss, which is substantial. That we need to find, figure out where we're not building, there's water going somewhere, and seem to think we're not just losing tons of water into the ground. That may be something to do with the meters of building or something like that. At the same time, we got $90 million worth of capital improvements that we got to start doing. And we really don't have a lot. I mean, the longer we wait, the more, the older and worn out these water pipes get, sewer lines and things. you know, I was looking at Oxford and Tupelo today, they start their base rate goes up to 3,000 gallons. You use so much per gallon at 3,000 gallons. When you hit over 3,000, I think 3,000.
First three free,
First three.
so to speak,
No, well,
not free, but you know what
it's
I mean,
base,
it's base, yeah.
And they start increasing the rate after that. That gives us an idea that, you know, maybe, like as Alderman Sistrunk said, maybe on the base side, we've got some, opportunity there. I guess what I'm saying is, if we wait till we get the water loss in the city down to 25% or whatever like that, we're gonna be behind the 8 ball. We're gonna be in a situation where we need to be moving toward, expeditiously toward these, starting up and Mr. Kemp's schedule of starting and completing these capital improvements, water and sewer, improvements, for our city. If we don't, that's just something that we've got to do it for our citizens. It's come time, it's gonna be expensive and it's kind of falling to us to have to make those hard decisions about the rates and things and getting this stuff done. But that's, you know, that's what we signed on to, we got elected, you know. So we got to be sensitive to ratepayers at the same time. If we wait till we get a handle on the water loss, we're gonna get way behind before we get that determined with that water loss. You can comment on that, Mr. Kemp, if you think. I mean, maybe in the next 60 months to a year, we figure out where 20-25% of our water's going, something like that. But I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's something we're obviously have on the front burner. We're working on it every day. We do think better data from the system will be helpful for us to try to continue to find where that is. But I think that I've always been a little suspicious of that calculation of that coming from the old legacy system and how accurate that was, that water loss number. I've communicated that to the board in the past as well. It's a significant amount of loss of water, and I think over time, if we continue to work at it, that number will come down. It's never going to be probably zero.
Oh, no.
You know, there's always going to be water losses in a system, especially a system with, you know, we have a lot of customers, and a lot of old infrastructure, and we're, you know, all I can say is we're working on it. We're working on it as fast as we can, but it's not going to be an overnight. It's not going to be a 1-month process. It's going to be a several month. And I don't think that we necessarily got to this point overnight either. It's probably been something that's taken a while to get here. I think that this is probably the first time that we've taken a deep dive into that aspect of our system. And, you know, that was kind of what I was expecting in all these evaluations. Show us the things that we need to be working on. Show us the criticality of the projects and the end of life that we're reaching with some of our equipment, and help us prioritize where to best utilize the customer's funding. So I didn't go into it thinking that we were just going to get a perfect report. So water loss, it is higher than I was anticipating.
You confirm?
Mayor, and then Alderman Sistrunk wanted to add some things. I think we need to meet again in the board and maybe with Mr. Kemp and try to figure out if there's some compromise on was proposed initially on this and somewhere that the board would feel comfortable. And I've heard things like base rates and things, but maybe we all kind of dig a little deeper into this and have a meeting where we've versed ourselves as well as we possibly can when we come in there and we'll have more questions to ask, and maybe Mr. Kemp would have some type of alternate fund, you know, another a rate system that would allow us to raise some money and something between what is being proposed in this thing and nothing. So.
Well, I think Mr. Kemp has probably given you what he considers to be his best and first effort, but nonetheless, I understand what you're saying. And I do think, I was getting from you that I thought you might want to, okay, just a second, that you might want to make a motion because you had an idea, because I saw your hand next, and then I will go from her to you. Okay?
And I would like to say that I do think that this is a great start. And I think it's prudent, again, I'm using that word a lot tonight apparently, but I think it's prudent that we be planning for the future, because while right now these problems may impact growth, we're not very far from it impacting people who are here already. So we want to make sure we're taking care of our current customers and having the capacity to grow. I would like to make a motion, and again, I'm trying to focus on infrastructure and that base rate. So I'm going to make a motion that we increase the rates in the base rate category, continue to study the variable rate, and revisit variable rates 3 months from now.
For clarification, that's base rate for sewer and for
Water and sewer,
proposed?
water and sewer as proposed.
Okay, all right. Do I have a second?
Make a
No?
comment.
Well, I need a
Before I
second if
second.
I'm gonna move forward with this, other than that, we'll dies for lack of a second. Anyone? Second? All right, hearing none. That motion dies for lack of a second. All right, Alderman Vaughn.
Go back to a question Alderman provides that while we're waiting on the water loss we're gonna get for behind, what solution do you have? Do you have a solution?
A solution
Is
in
there
order to
any-
keep from getting.
Board, is there any solution that if we gonna wait and see what the water loss issue gonna be? I mean, do we have a solution to keep from getting behind? While we're waiting, Ada made the comment that we're gonna get behind while we're waiting. So what solution do we have to keep from getting behind?
Well, I can respond for me, and I will go to Alderman Beatty, but I will tell you, we're already behind. Because we are behind in the sense that we're behind with our aerators, because we had put a plan in motion to do, and it failed. And so we're 3 years behind, based on what we knew we needed for aerators because of this.
Initially installed in 19.
Well, but the new system that we were trying to put in place that did not work. So we're behind from that standpoint because we thought we had a solution for that. But we are, again, we've done a number of things that still need to be done. The fairgrounds needs to be done. Stark Road needs to be done. So we've got a lot of places that are currently, the Long Meadow needs to be done. We've got a lot of places that are currently in need. So they're just gonna get older. They're not gonna get better. They're just gonna get older. And I hate to say that if somebody's getting older.
I'm not gonna say nothing about it.
But the bottom line is we will continue. Every day that goes by, we have another break somewhere that we've got to fix and that we're going to have to be addressing. But they do just keep getting older. But what we're talking about now is a well, which isn't our lines. A well is the well, and just to continue to be able to support what we've got. And then the wastewater treatment plant is aged beyond its years and just needs to be replaced. So it's not doing new stuff as much as it is replacing old stuff, and that's part of the issue. Alderman Beatty.
In
Was I
direct,
wrong?
well,
I'm
no,
sorry.
in direct response to,
I'm sorry, was you?
It was me that raised my hand, yeah.
I yield.
Okay, I'm sorry, Alderman Moreland, my
How can you
apologies, I thought.
confuse the two of
Well,
us?
no, I just saw a motion out of the corner of my eye, Alderman Moreland.
Edward, what do you need from us as a board to help you track the water loss? If it's a meter issue, if there's a third party that can put hands on meters, if there's something we can do to provide you what you need to try to track the water loss?
Yeah, we're tracking it right now, just high level. I think more data, a little more time, I
Okay.
think will give us, I think that the focus will become a little bit clearer, and we can validate those original numbers that, again, I'm still a little bit skeptical that they're that high. So that would be the main thing, is just a little bit more time, and I think, I can come back in 3 months, if that's the board's pleasure. I can at least give you an update of where we are with 3 months worth of new billing system data that we could really kind of dig into. Yeah.
And I think that goes for the whole board. We do support you, absolutely.
I-
I mean, I just don't want you to get, we do, and if there's something we can do to help with that, we are all here for that, so.
Well, I think Edward's got his staff working on that as much as he possibly can based on staff and timing, so timing being a part of it. But if we come back in 3 months, then we've lost 3 months of revenue. And so I think we need to come away from here, Board, I would please consider that you come away with some sort of rate increase for him to to have so that he can get started, and if we need to come back 3 months later and tweak it, we certainly are allowed to do so. But I do think that he needs to have revenue in order to meet the obligations that we've got for, in particular, wastewater, as well as moving forward to a new well. And I promise to keep trying to get us funding from the various legislators, et cetera, who've been generous so far. So, you know, we'll keep our fingers crossed, but we can't count on those things, so.
Well, and I know that our sewer rates are way lower than they should be, so I am 100% okay with raising the base rate for the sewage, because I know that the $6 is not even touching what it's costing us right now. I mean, and to be honest, I don't know that the 1075 would, but we don't have the numbers right now to know that. But I'm absolutely on board with raising the sewer rate, because we're losing that end of it.
And so we've been subsidizing water for.
Well, it has been.
That's-
It has been.
that's-
So, you know, I'm hearing everyone saying that we need it, but nobody's willing to pull the trigger
We're just
on
gonna-
how
I mean, I
much we
make
need.
a motion to
So-
raise the sewage rates.
Okay, would you like to make a
I do.
motion to
I
such?
make a motion to raise the sewage. And
To
we
the
will-
base, to the base rate or to the variable, and the base?
Just the base.
Just the base.
Just
All
the
right.
base.
All right.
Until we can get the water loss track, because those go siding.
Okay, so I have a motion from Alderman Moreland to raise the sewer base rate from the current 6 to 1050, is that correct?
1075.
1075, I'm sorry, 1075. All right, I have a motion. Do I have a second for that? I have a second for that.
And that's just the $475 more a month on their utility.
Base rate,
correct?
base rate. Okay, going once, going twice. All right, dies for lack of a second. All
Mayor,
right.
this begs for
Alderman.
another meeting somewhere
Well,
where we get a single.
Okay, would you like to make a motion to table and bring it back at a particular time?
Yes.
Then give me a particular time.
I don't know. I mean, I don't know. Next work meeting, next, Friday work meeting,
Okay, so I have a motion
it'll be
to,
Friday week.
I have a motion to table until Friday at the next work session, which is gonna be 13th,
And we,
Table until
everyone,
September 15th,
September 15th.
the board meeting, or table.
Well, I'm sorry, table, that's correct, because that would be a work session, so we'll bring it back on the 13th and table it until the 15th. All right, is that your motion?
that's my motion,
Okay,
The board meeting is actually 17.
17.
okay.
I'm sorry.
There you go.
I'm gonna throw a calendar up there so I can see it. All right, so,
13th meeting, work meeting, 17th, meeting.
all right, it'd be the 13th work session, so, all right.
Point of order.
Vice Mayor,
Point of order.
Vice Mayor.
It's the gentleman from 5 seeking to table this until the 13th for consideration of 17th.
Yes, sir.
Mayor, wouldn't it, attorney weigh in on this, if we're gonna table this, and listen carefully, attorney, wouldn't it be better to table this until the 17th, because under your legal definition of work session, you don't need to be discussing any policy issue, because that's basically gonna be the intent. And of course, the mayor can just, the motion probably better, we're just talking through real quickly, to table it until the 17th, and then the mayor can just direct her agenda as she desires, because it would give the impression that we're going to continue it into the work session for policy considerations. Do you follow me, attorney?
Yeah, direct the work session, have some discussion about it, but table it to the 17th.
Correct. Right, the mayor can just sit on agenda for the 13th and just table it to the 17th. The mayor can set her agenda as she desires. That'll keep us within the confines of the open meetings law.
Vice Mayor, may I amend my motion as per your changes on that?
So, all right, we table it till the 17th.
I'll follow the Vice Mayor's.
Okay.
All right.
I second it, Mayor.
All right, thank you, Vice Mayor.
You're welcome, Mayor. Thank you.
All right. No further, okay, Alderman Rupp?
Yeah, well, I just wanted to say, Alderman Moreland and Sister, that I didn't necessarily oppose either of your motions, but I don't feel I know which one makes, is in
Well,
the
that's a
best
good
interest
thing.
of the citizens, so that's why I didn't support them, but I know we need to do something, but I really couldn't pick it.
Well, thank you.
All right. Okay, all right, I have a motion and a second. If you would, please answer yea or nay as the city clerk calls your name.
Alderman Moreland.
Yay.
Alderman Rupp.
Yay.
Alderman Brooks.
Yay.
Alderman Beatty.
Yay.
Alderman Sistrum.
Yay.
Vice Mayor Perkins.
Yay.
Alderman Vaughn.
Yay.
All right, thank you, everyone, that's unanimous, so it is tabled until the 17th. We will bring that back for board decision. We'll put it under board business as opposed to utilities. And with that, I need to read the call of the work session, please. Let me read it. You're jumping on me here. In accordance with the notices required under Mississippi Code annotated 254113, the board will have a work session on Friday, the 13th of September, 2024 at 11 a.m. That meeting will be held in City Hall, second floor conference room located at 110 West Main. Notice should be provided of this work session within 1 hour of this meeting by posting such notice at City Hall. Notice for the work session shall be made a part of the minutes of the board meeting. The work session will be an open public meeting, and the City of Starkville and the public and press are invited to attend. Do I have a motion to recess? Thank you, Alderman Vaughn. A second?
Second.
Second from Alderman Moreland. Answer yea or nay as the city clerk calls your name.
Alderman Moreland.
Yay.
Alderman Rupp.
Yay.
Alderman Brooks.
Yay.
Alderman Beatty.
Yay.
Alderman Sistrum. Vice Mayor Perkins.
Yay.
Alderman Vaughn.
Yay.
We are in recess. Thank you, everyone. Appreciate it.